Shalom, everybody. What an absolutely gorgeous day with the breeze coming off of the hills. We just came. We drove through the valley of Armageddon on our way to Afula, but on the way back, we saw Nain, the widow's son. And it's a small Arab village. And of course, Noam and I are we just love doing these adventures and finding new places for all of you. And behind me the church is called the Widow's Son's Church. And I find that so interesting. All my years of living here in the land and before bringing many groups in, I've never been to this place. And even when you drive in, Noam and I found such peace. It was just a peaceful village. And why is this village so important as we hear that it's called Nain? Well, because in Luke chapter 7, it's all about Yeshua walking 25 miles from Capernaum after he healed the centurion's son. He walked 25 miles, perfect timing, because everything that Yeshua does is perfect, okay? We need to understand, even when we feel like he's late in our life, he's not late. It's always on time with Yeshua. So he arrives here about dusk. We know that because of the time it takes to walk the 25 miles. And around dusk, that's when the Jewish people always would have their processions of if somebody had died in the village. And as Yeshua and his disciples came in and there was a crowd that followed him, all of a sudden there's a widow at the beginning of the procession. Okay, after her were the were the women of the village. Why didn't she have, I'm sure she didn't have flutes and everything else, because normally you hire professional mourners. And because she was a widow, and this was her only son, meaning this widow was destitute. She had no way of earning money, or trying to have money, because there were no more relatives. And her son, obviously, they figured he was between 25 and 40 years of age. So Yeshua comes in and he says to her, don't cry. Can you imagine? You're losing your only son. He's the one that provided everything for you. And now he's lying in a briar. And what they would do with the briar was like a wooden box. And they would carry them through the village. And the body was wrapped in a shroud. But at that time, the face was uncovered. And so it was young men that would usually carry the briar on their shoulders. So can you imagine Yeshua saying to her, don't cry. And then he goes up and everybody's watching him, right? Because it was like, who is this stranger that has come into our village? And with this crowd that is following him, he goes up to the briar and he touches the young man and he says, get up. Now, we know what happened after that, but I want you to grasp the story. Can you imagine the young man sitting up? The young man that is carrying the briar, a wooden box on their shoulders. I don't know about you. I'm surprised they didn't just drop the box and run, because I think most of us would have, because we would have been so shocked. And so here it is. This is happening. Yeshua raises the dead. Raises her son. Her livelihood, her very existence was in that son that died, her only son. Yeshua's timing is always perfect. Again, I think many of us have found that maybe it's not perfect, but to the Lord's timing, it is perfect. Now I want to share this because Armageddon is right over there. Capernaum is 25 miles that way, if I'm having it right. Afula is that way. And here is this little village, an Arab village. About 30 feet from us is the mosque. But here is this old church called the Widow's Son Church. And it's spotless and it's clean. Now I'm going to tell you a story that happened to me personally. I was with a friend in Jerusalem many years ago. And we were walking in the Arab Shuk. And I heard all this commotion, and I thought, what in the world? Because the shop were really close, and the alleyway was very close. And you know what it is, you're rubbing shoulders with everybody. All of a sudden, my friend grasped me, yanked me, And all I remember is seeing about 6 inches in front of my face was this wooden box. And then when she yanked me, then I saw the face of the young Arab man that had obviously had died. And at that moment in Jerusalem, I was thinking about this story, exactly this story, because Yeshua did not become unclean, as many would like to point the finger at him. He didn't break any laws, none, because the virtue and the holiness that came out of Yeshua. Can you imagine, even before his hand touched, the uncleanness of the dead must have just departed from that widow's son's body. So he didn't break any laws. And I think, Lord, touch us continually. We desire to have the touch of Yeshua. We always will desire to have the touch of Yeshua because he is holy. And we know that we live in a fallen world. And that's why we say, come, Lord Yeshua, come quickly. So next time you come to Israel, maybe you're going to come with Nomanai. And we want to take you to this beautiful village, to where the widow had her resurrected life of a future because of Yeshua.